This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President instructs action to prevent the spread of dengue. The Prime Minister says immediate arrangements of a systematic data report on school dropouts is essential. The adjournment debate related to the ill-fated Express Pearl on the 10th and the 11th of May, and the Committee on Parliamentary Business decide. China attends an observer at the first meeting of Sri Lanka's creditor nations. USA addresses restructuring Sri Lanka's energy sector. The tourism industry earns nearly $200 million income in March. The Navy apprehends 7 suspects in Mannar Seas for the possession of water gel sticks. And on international news, the former Pakistan PM Imran Khan faces over 120 cases across the country. And on sports news, the Sri Lanka women's players achieve career-high ratings on rankings update. The President's media reports on the President's instructions. The President's secretary has informed all chief secretaries to take immediate precautions and actions to prevent the spread of dengue. The Army and Police instructed to extend their fullest cooperation. Moreover, the Director of Education of the Western Province, Lal Nonis, said that a circular will be issued to the principals to take necessary measures to prevent breeding dengue mosquitoes within the school premises of the Western Province. Furthermore, 15 districts have been identified to be at dengue high risk according to the Health Entomology Officers Association. The Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena stressed that it is essential to prepare a systematic report of data on school dropouts expeditiously, addressing the Regional Development Committee meeting held at the Maharagama Divisional Secretariat on the 8th of May 2023. He pointed out that it will be difficult to implement proper programs targeting the future of those children without clear information about the children who drop out from school. If children who leave school at the end of the GC ordinary level and advanced level examinations for various reasons and do not engage in higher education, their personal development would be affected apart from creating a social issue. The Prime Minister pointed out that it is essential that the children who are registered in the school up to GC ordinary level or up to advanced level should be recorded at the level of the respective divisional secretariat, and that it is imperative to find out the way in which these children leave without taking the exam and for what reason they do so. The Secretary-General of Parliament, Mr. Dhammika Dasanayake, stated that the Committee on Parliamentary Business decided that instead of the debate on the second reading of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Bill, which was scheduled to be debated next Thursday, the debate on the German debate related to the sunken Express Pearl ship disaster will be held for the second day. This was decided at the Committee on Parliamentary Business held today under the chairmanship of Honourable Mahinda Yapa Speaker. Accordingly, the adjournment debate brought in by the opposition will be held on the 10th and 11th from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. China attended as an observer the first meeting of Sri Lanka's creditor nations on Tuesday, offering policymakers some hope Beijing will become more engaged in talks to resolve debt woes of low and middle-income countries across the world. The meeting, within a new framework launched in Washington, D.C. in April, that creditors hope will serve as a model to resolve the debt difficulties of middle-income economies, was held online. Japan, which initiated the launch together with India and France, invited all bilateral creditors, including the largest, China. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
The United States Agency for International Development has provided the necessary technical assistance for Sri Lanka's power and energy sector restructuring program. The US aid has made available its technical assistance for the restructuring of the energy sector and to develop the roadmap for the transition of the Ceylon Electricity Board reforms, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said in a Twitter message. The Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, Monday, met with a USAID team including Mr. Arindam Ghosh, the assigned consultant who has come to Sri Lanka to develop the roadmap and assist in the reform process. The Sri Lanka Navy apprehended 7 individuals who were preparing to engage in fishing and explosives during a search operation conducted off the Wankalei Mannar on 8 May 2023. The search operation also led to the seizure of 10 water gel sticks, a type of commercial explosive, 18 non-electric detonators, diving gear and 1 dinghy. The use of explosives or fishing poses a serious threat to marine life and can cause long-lasting damage to marine ecosystems. Thus, the Sri Lanka Navy has been conducting regular operations to crack down on explosives, fishing and other illegal fishing practices in the country's waters. That ends local news for now.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has given directions for the initiation Us Vasuma welfare benefit payments, which are scheduled to commence from July 1st. The necessary gazette has been published in accordance with the authorities delegated to President Ranil Wickremesinghe as Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policy. Accordingly, these payments will be distributed among 4 social categories, namely transitional, vulnerable, poor and extremely poor. Additionally, the usual allowances for the differently abled, elderly, and kidney patients will also be provided. Accordingly, 400,000 transitional beneficiaries will receive 2,500 rupees per month until December 31st, 2023. 400,000 vulnerable beneficiaries will receive 5,000 rupees per month until March 31st, 2024. 800,000 poor beneficiaries will receive 8,500 rupees per month, and extremely poor beneficiaries will receive 15,000 rupees per month for 3 years beginning July 1st, 2023. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight tonight, the health authorities say that the number of leptospirosis patients have increased in the Polonnaruwa district at present. The number of patients is rising after the commencement of farming activities of the Yalla harvesting season. Polonnaruwa district epidemiology unit says the distribution of relevant medicines and other preventive measures will be conducted under the public health inspectors. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on with world news and the headlines first. The former Pakistan PM Imran Khan faces over 120 cases across the country. The police regret arrest of anti-monarchy demonstrators in London. The Uzbekistan president calls snap presidential election. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who was arrested by paramilitary rangers on May 9th, is facing 121 cases across the country, including for committing treason and blasphemy and inciting violence and terrorism. Ex-PM Imran Khan, who travelled from Lahore to the federal capital Islamabad, was undergoing a biometric process at the court when the rangers broke open the glass window and arrested him after beating lawyers and ex-PM's security staff. The Metropolitan Police have expressed regret over the arrest of 6 anti-monarchy protesters on May 6th morning, hours before King Charles III was due to arrive in Westminster Abbey for his coronation. The police said it used the Public Order Act passed just last week, which criminalizes the use of devices that allow protesters to lock on to each other or to certain structures to make the arrests. Among those detained on Saturday was Graham Smith, the chief executive of anti-monarchy group Republic. Uzbekistan's President Shavkat Mirziyoyev has called a snap presidential election, Russia's RIA news agency reported on Monday, without giving a date. Uzbek voters approved a package of constitutional amendments in a referendum on April 30th that allows Mirziyoyev to run for 2 more 7-year terms. Back to the world news headlines. The former Pakistan PM Imran Khan faces 120 cases across the country. The police regret arrest of anti-monarchy demonstrators in London. The Uzbekistan president calls snap presidential election. That ends world news.
Development news.
A US-based company has reached a principal agreement to lay a new fuel pipeline between the Colombo port and the Colonava terminal ahead of the signing agreement to begin its retail fuel distribution in Sri Lanka. Under the agreement, RM Parks Shell Company will make an initial investment of $50 to $60 million for the project, which is expected to begin after it enters into the retail fuel distribution business. The new pipeline will replace the existing line, which has experienced several leaks over the past few years. In addition to the laying of the pipeline, the company will install fenders in the jetty replacing tires, which are used to prevent the collision of vessels, and also invest in a fire control system in the harbour. The company is set to sign an agreement this month to enter the fuel distribution business in Sri Lanka and begin operations in June. That was development news. Coming up, sports news. A host of Sri Lanka players have been rewarded with new career high ratings on the latest MRF Tires ICC Women's ODI Rankings update. Sri Lanka recently hosted Bangladesh for a 3-game ODI series in Colombo, and it was the home side that came away victorious despite some inclement weather marring the series. While there was no result achieved in the opening match and the second game was completely abandoned, Sri Lanka cruised to a 58-run victory in the third and final game of the series to clinch a 1-0 result. That was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Unilever's CET factory in Agarapatana was awarded the Gold Trophy of Commendation for its contribution towards the environment at the Presidential Environment Awards 2021-2022 by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Organized by the Central Environmental Authority, the Presidential Environment Awards seek to reward individuals and institutions which have made outstanding contributions to the field of environmental conservation and protection. The Presidential Awards is widely recognized as the most prestigious recognition in the field of environment conservation and protection in Sri Lanka. The award ceremony for 2021-2022 was held recently at the BMICH under the patronage of the President Ranil Wickremesinghe. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC. Imagine the possibilities.
Showing a considerable growth, Sri Lanka's tourism industry has managed to generate an income of 63.3 billion rupees in the month of March, which is a growth of 22.8% compared to last year. According to a latest report issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka's income from tourism in March 2022 was $161.2 million. That came to you in economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern and southern provinces, and several spells of showers will occur in the northern provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere over the island, particularly during the afternoon or night. Strong winds of about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western and southern coastal areas and along the western slopes of the central hills. That was the weather report, and now to this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President instructs action to prevent the spread of dengue. The Prime Minister says immediate arrangements of a systematic data report on school dropouts is essential. The adjournment debate related to the ill-fated Express Pearl on the 10th and 11th May. The Committee on Parliamentary Business decides. China attends an observer at the first meeting of Sri Lanka's creditor nations. USAID assists restructuring Sri Lanka's energy sector. The tourism industry earns nearly $200 million income in March. The Navy apprehends 7 suspects in the Mannar Seas for the possession of water gel sticks. And on international news, the former Pakistan PM, Imran Khan, faces 120 cases across the country. And in sports news, Sri Lanka women's players achieve career high ratings on rankings update. That ends this news broadcast.